How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. Do me a huge favor, jump inside the chat. Let us know that you are here. Tell us where you're joining us from. Also, if you already have your website up and going, you already have your coaching practice launch, you have a link to Instagram or whatever, drop that inside of the comments as well. That way we can help boost your search engine optimization. And, if you get a client out of watching this video, that would be really, really amazing. And so we're not afraid if you post yourself and promote yourself, please do that. Your name, where you're joining us from, who it is that you help, who your ideal client is. Go ahead and throw that inside of the chat. And if you've never joined us for Mentor Monday, here's our forward mission statement at Life Coach Training Institute. It is proficient coaches. We want you to grow into coaching proficiency. We want you to get the best results that you possibly can as a coach. And the reality is that even inside of our training courses and the Life Coach certification course, or even advanced skills training, anything that we do, there are certain little key issues. There's certain little problems and things that you're going to run across that you couldn't possibly include in all of the training that you do. That's why we do these Mentor Mondays, because part of our mission statement is proficient coaches. We want to deal with some of those core issues that coaches are coming across with their clients. Also, the other two words of our mission statement is thriving practices. We want you to be successful as a business person. We want you to be able to get clients. We want you to be able to leave that 9 to 5 and actually step in fully into your coaching career. Let me say hello to a few people who are saying hello to me. Hillary is saying hello from New York. Greg is saying hello. Oh, it looks like I can't see everybody's name in there. Let us know where you're joining us from. Becky is joining us from Indiana. Sharon says, I'm here as a newly certified life coach. Way to go. Awesome. And so excited and so thankful, tuning in from Jacksonville. So you're across a little way from us. You're a few hours away still. We are in the Emerald Coast of Florida. So we're kind of in that Pensacola area, if anybody knows where that is. Who else do I need to say hello to? Kellen is joining us from Utah/Romania. Okay, cool. Wendy is joining us from New Mexico. Dan joining us from Indiana. His website is Elevation Life Coaching for Men. It's for men who need help with work-life balance. Greg's website, let me see if I can get that up. For some reason, it's disappearing on me on here. It's Blink Life Coaching, blinklifecoaching.com. Karen's joining us from Georgia. Let me see if I can get hers up. mydivinefreedom.com, coaching for women 40 and up. And I also have a new group. And I'm not going to read all that, but if you see that, you can actually click that link if you're watching on Facebook. Kellen's joining us from Utah. Thank you, Sharon. Anybody else wants to say hello to us? Tell us where you're joining us from. We haven't started in the content yet, but let us know where you are joining us from. Also, tell us a bit about you if you've got a link to your website or social media. If you're looking for your ideal client, describe who they are, who it is that you help, what problems that you help people solve, that sort of thing. And do me another really big favor. Like this post and share it. It tells Facebook and YouTube that we are doing a good job, which is our end game on these Mentor Mondays, is that we're really trying to help coaches be better at coaching and get clients. And so, again, that's all at the very minimum that we're asking for you. Promote yourself in the chat and like this post. Listen, if we do not do what we say that we're going to do, you can always take your like back in a little bit. At the end, you can just take it back. You can unlike it if we do not do what we're supposed to do. And I'm looking in this, I'm seeing the light shining on my head, and I got like hair sticking up all over the place. It's the one problem with these new cameras and the HD, that it's like, oh, I can see every hair that's out of place now. Anyway, hey, here's what we're talking about. We've been in this series called Coaching Self-Sabotage, which is a major problem that you're going to be running across as a coach. You're going to find clients who are going along, and then suddenly self-sabotage starts to rear its ugly head. And the interesting topic that we are hitting this week, because we talked about the fear of success, we talked about clients last week who feel undeserving of anything better. I don't deserve this. We talked about that last week. You're going to be running across these people. Now, here's an interesting thing is that you're going to find, and here's the thing, here's the reason why I wanted to talk about this topic. You're going to run across clients who get so far, 80, 90%, and then self-sabotage kicks in. And this is something that I see that undermines coaches a lot. They will get this far into launching, and then self-sabotage kicks in. So that's why it was also really important for me to talk about this topic, because I know it's an issue that's hitting a lot of coaches. Now, before we dive in, what I always do is I give you guys the slides. So text the keyword slides to 833-258-7547. All you got to do, it's going to give you a link to the webpage. You can go back and revisit this video, but also just scroll to the bottom. There's a big green button at the bottom. Scroll to the bottom, get your slides, because what I do as I'm going through all of this material, it keeps you from having to take a bunch of crazy notes, but it also is going to allow you to hold. What I do every time that we do these, I try to give you coaching tools. So how to approach a client who's struggling or challenged with certain kinds of things. We always include tools. That's why you'll want that. I'll give you like 5 more seconds to text slides to 833-258-7547. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So here's where we're at, folks. You're going to be coaching people at times who are going to start off incredibly strong. And one of the things that I usually tell our coaches in general is that first 90 days, when you are coaching a client, usually goes really easily. It's, your client shows up, they're highly motivated, they're really excited. The sessions are incredibly dynamic. There's a lot of breakthrough, and you get a lot done. And so really what I usually tell coaches in general is that first 90 days, the program that is running in the background on someone usually does not show itself. Because what's interesting with the program, and if you've never heard me talk about programs, really what it is that every one of us have default mechanisms. We have default systems that have been running us for a really long time. And here's really the way that it works. Almost everything that we do on an everyday basis is on autopilot. We're not just simply creatures of habit, but what we have done throughout our entire life, and a lot of these things got hardwired really early, is that what our subconscious allows us to do, what the program allows us to do, because the program is actually what's in control all the time. A lot of times people think my conscious mind is in control, but your conscious mind really is not in control. This is why there's things that you consciously really, really, really want, but for some reason you don't have it. Like, if you can imagine any time in your life that there was something that you really wanted and you had a goal in mind and you started towards it, if you quit before you reached that goal, there was something else that kicked in along the way. And that could be the greater commitment that you have in your life. It's not the biggest commitment that you have in your life, but see what that commitment is in many cases is that you have a program that's trying to keep you where you are. Because even though we don't like it, we're very familiar with it. We're very comfortable with it. And even though we do not like it, and it might be tied to the past and it might be tied to the present in some kind of way, that we hold on to it. And so there is this program that kicks in that makes us dig in and stay where we are, because as soon as we start doing something that enters the truly unknown realm, where we cross the chicken line, when we get to that part where the matches are out and we're going to burn the bridges, this is when the program kicks in, because it just got real. And so the program might kick in a little bit earlier for people, but I'm not surprised when the program kicks in 90 days into a coaching relationship, or 120 days, or 180 days into a coaching relationship. The closer that we get to go time is when the program kicks in, because the program is like, oh, we're suddenly unsafe and we feel threatened and we're afraid. See, this is the way that it works for coaches. Coaches will get so close. They'll go get trained and they'll get certified and they'll get their website up. And then all of a sudden, once they get to launch place, there's something that starts kicking in. It's like, well, maybe you can't, maybe you won't make money. Maybe people will say no. Maybe people will reject you. Maybe people will laugh at you. Maybe you'll get criticism from your family. And whatever that program is, that's when it'll kick in, when you're almost there. Now, what is this exactly? What is the hidden driver that makes this pop up? I kind of gave you a hint that we're dealing with programs. Clients who quit at 90% really aren't quitting because the work is hard. They stop because, just like I was saying, the finishing makes that result real. And as long as it's almost done, there's protectors. There's protections in place. Like, that program's not going to kick in while you're going through coach training. And because it'll allow you certain successes, because, well, let's think about it. When I go and learn something, I decide I'm going to read about something. I'm going to read a book about something. I am going to search the internet for something. I am going to watch a bunch of videos or whatever. That program is never going to kick in during that time, because the program will allow you to learn. It'll allow you to know a lot of different things. It'll allow you to grow in it and maybe even learn some skills and have some great conversations, talk about your dreams and all of those other things. But as soon as you get to almost done is when the program just suddenly wakes up. This is the master system. This is the thing that's running the show actually behind the scenes for you and your clients. Finishing means someone can finally decide what they think about it. So when you finish, some of you who won't finish and you're like right there and you won't do it. Now, there's some of you that have not gotten trained and certified yet. That's where that is for you right now. Because I'll tell you this, it's not about the money as to why you haven't already gotten trained and certified. How do I know that? Because we're the most affordable program in the world that is fully accredited and gives you literally everything to make this happen. I already know that. And I already know that about you. You've already Googled every program that's out there. You keep finding Life Coach Training Institute at the top of every Google search for a reason. Now, I believe that things happen for a reason, but I also know that you have already found this and you've already evaluated a lot of different things or whatever. So it's really not, how's not really the problem. Your ability is not the problem, but there's something in you that's like, oh, it's kicking in there. I'm not going to allow you to finish. I'm just going to allow you to dream. And some of you have been in dream state for 3 to 5 years. If you've Googled this more than 3 times, you have a program that's making decisions for you. You're not making a conscious decision about anything. The program is actually making the decision. How do I know that? Because it's already affordable. We got payment plans for things. Like there is no reason. It's not logical. I'll say this. Logic's not taking over. Program's owning you right now. And so finishing means, once you get to that place where the finishing is, hey, I went through a free course and now I should be doing something, or I should be finishing up my certification, or I finished my certification, I should be starting my business. Finishing means someone can decide what they think about it, whether that's your friends or family, your spouse, your romantic relationship, your children, the world, your potential clients, because the jury's out. Like, hey, I don't know if people are going to like what I have to say. I don't know if they're going to resonate with what, like, there's all of the unknowns. You notice how your hope for the future, hope is always living into the future. Faith is always connected to the future. It doesn't take faith to stay where you are right now, because you are believing in what you see right now. And so the evidence that you have right now is your emotions and what is familiar to you. And so your emotions or that program keeps saying, well, there might be a threat over there. But you know what's also true is that hope is actually connected to the future and faith is connected to the future because faith doesn't require sight. You know what the past is connected to? Regret. The present is connected to scarcity and trying to hold on to what you have instead of, and some of you are like, man, see, this is why it's illogical. I hate my job. I hate what I'm doing in my career. I hate that I'm not living into my purpose. I hate that we're not making it financially like we really should be. I hate that I'm kind of locked into this thing. Well, one decision makes all the difference, but we'll fight to stay in this place because the program's trying to keep us there. But hope and the future and faith is always in the future. It's always living over here because actually that's where our purpose is. That's where life is. That's where your destiny is. That's where you fully maturing and growing up and being everything that you were made to be. It all lives over there. This is what's true for your clients as well. Not just talking to you guys, but I know that I'm talking to a certain few coaches that you're at the chicken line and you're in tweak it mode and you're at that place and you think that you've got some logical reasons. And here's what will happen is that the program is such a loop. You will keep doing little tweaks and you'll keep saying it's something else instead of, hey, the program's winning today. And maybe I'm actually afraid of the jury will be out on me after this is over with. As long as it's almost done, the outcome is actually protected from a finished product that can be compared to someone else's. And as long as it's almost done, the outcome is protected from the response. Even helpful feedback for your clients can feel like a threat to themselves because their identity is actually connected to what they are building. 90% feels safe. 100% feels like I'm about to get exposed. So again, the program will allow you to get to 90% because as long as I keep staying in line and obeying the program and saying, well, you know what? I'm still tweaking. I'm still working on this thing. But we're lying to ourselves because we know that the program is actually making a decision about our launch date. Some of you who are watching me right now and you've already gotten trained and certified, wherever that happened, if you have not pulled the trigger on this, you need to just at least give yourself a January 1 start date. Why January 1? Because January 1 is almost the number one month for your coaching practice all year. September is actually the best, but January is a really close second. It's kind of like going fishing and the fish are jumping in the boat. And that should be a great enough motivation that it's like, dude, January 1, this year's over with. 2026, did you think that your program would still be owning you all the way to 2026? Well, don't let it own you anymore. You can get this thing done. And here's what happens with a lot of coaches anyway. Their program allows them to get into holiday mode for November and December, and they don't do anything. Now, some of you are on tonight for a reason, but you can't wait until January 1 to start. It's actually the momentum that you need to begin now so that when January comes around that you're actually, you're in place. You're exactly where you need to be able to get clients and all those other things. So why do people quit at 90%? Well, at 90%, it allows them to keep their dream intact because it's still a dream and they can still keep telling themselves that they are working towards it. At 100%, something happens. Reality check. Truth shows up. Completion removes some things from you. As soon as you get to 100%, you don't get to say anymore, I just need a little more time. Listen, some of you guys, how much more time do you need? I'm very aware of my life. I hit the half century mark last year. So I'm very aware that maybe half of my life is over with. I'm expecting to live to be 100, but effectively half of my life is over with. And I don't need any more time, but I need more action. I need to get crystal clear about my vision, and I need to do the things that get me the most traction. Some of you are older than me. You have less time than I have. I'm not trying to be morbid or whatever. Some of you are a little bit younger. But if you're not banking on 100 years like I am, you may be at that halfway mark in your life right now. And I'm not trying to be in your face, but let's think about it. We've got weeks until a new year. When is go time ever going to be? Except right now. And not only does it take a conscious decision, but for some of you, it's going to take some real intentionality and some partnership with some things to move forward. This is why your clients need coaches, because they're stuck. See, completion removes, I just want to refine it. And here's what I will tell you. After you launch, you can always refine it. You can always change your niche. You can always change your color scheme. You can change your branding. Don't let those stupid things hold you back. They're excuses at the end of the day. Nothing is perfect and nothing is finished. I could bring you back to the original stuff that I was doing in my coaching business. It was very bad. And I can bring you to the beginning of this stuff that I was doing when we started Life Coach Training Institute in 2014. It's embarrassing. My haircut was embarrassing. My videos were embarrassing. Everything was embarrassing. And the funny part about it is I had to get started, because that start led us to here. But the not starting would have never led us to where we are today. See, when you get to 100%, you're not in that I'm still working on it mode anymore. Finishing forces reality. It forces a moment of truth in your life. 90% ends up being a hiding place. You know, the funny thing is that your hiding place usually isn't 10% or 20% or 30%. 90% people can actually feel really good about it, because you feel accomplished. You feel like, yeah, it's unfinished, but I've gotten so far. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But as long as you're around that 90%, then you can tell yourself you've been working on it. And you can tell other people that you're almost there, but you're still tweaking some things. But 100% changes everything. Now, if you're coaching someone, how do we begin to interrupt this pattern? Because that's what we're really dealing with, is that we're dealing with a pattern. We're dealing with a loop. How do we do it? Number one, you want to shrink the final 10%. Here's a great coaching question for that. What is the exact task you've been avoiding in this last stretch? And what we're going to do with that is that there's a particular choke point. We're not talking about the whole project or anything else. What everybody's going to find, everybody's got a choke point that's keeping them from moving forward right now. I'm going to let you do that right now. For some of you who have not launched yet, what is your choke point? For some of you who haven't even gotten your training started, what is your choke point? Name what your choke point is right now. And honestly, not that anything is going to be perfect, because I could push back on things. Your choke point in many cases is not actually going to be finances. It's not that. Your choke point really isn't marketing. It's what you believe about marketing. Your choke point is not your website. It's what you believe about your website. There's a really quick answer. When we do Grow Model, we always get to options and obstacles. We need to find out what are your options then? What can you do about that? See, if I shrink it down, that final 10% is one thing in most cases. Well, let's deal with it then. What can you do about that? You just named your choke point. What can you do about that? Oh, well, it's finances. Well, there's a payment plan. Have you tried the payment plan? Oh, I didn't know that was there. Okay, now we've got that solved. Why don't you just give a link to people and say, hey, what do you want for Christmas? Here's all I want for Christmas. I just want to get trained and certified. Like, there's any number of things. Oh, it's my website. Well, what's one thing that you could do about getting that website resolved? It takes like 10 minutes to get a website up and going. Like, really, it's not that big of a deal, right? But see, that 10%, it's not all of these other things. It's not a lot of big things. It's usually a small thing. What's the choke point? What's the answer to that choke point? Number two, name the threat of finishing and ask, let's be honest, what changes for you the moment this is officially done? And if we can name that, then what happens is that we're actually addressing what the real fear is, because completion is actually triggering something. So it's going to be really important for us to name what that fear is. Now, here's the funny thing is, most of what we are afraid of never actually happens. Most of what we worry about in our life, according to a study at University of Cincinnati, about 85, 90% of what we worry about never actually happens. And the little bit that actually does, we are incredibly adept at being able to deal with it, cope with it, and have a strategy for it. So what is the real fear? In many cases, the fear isn't really particularly logical. But if we can begin to name it and start addressing what it is and then deal with it. Here's another one. Make the ending clear, not emotional. Ask this question: what does finished actually look like for this? What is that going to do? It's going to remove vagueness, and it's going to remove momentum loss. And here's the last one: normalize finishing. Don't normalize almost finishing. Here's the question you can ask: what can you close out today, start to completion, start to done? Because finishing, what do we want? Is that we want finishing to actually become the standard. We don't want that to be an exception to what people can actually expect. So as a coach, remember these things. Clients don't stall because they lack ability. It's never the issue. They stall because the last 10% removes their safety buffer. Done feels riskier than almost done. That's why people will camp out and they will live there. When finishing becomes normal instead of revealing, progress will stop stalling at the 90%. Hey, for those of you who still need to get trained and certified, coming up on December the 20th is our fastest track to certification. A year ago, we started this program, which is 1-day life coach certification training accelerator. What we do, because what our program has always been designed to do, we were the original pioneers of online education for coaching. And we were way ahead of everybody else. We're fully accredited, and we have served over 50,000 coaches globally. But this program, what we did is we do have a self-paced program. I'll tell you about that in just a second. That was what our original program started at. But what I realized is that sometimes we know that, we don't keep up with things. We don't manage our life sometimes, and our schedule gets out of whack. And sometimes we just want to be get her done. Like one and done. Like if we created something that you could just get in and you could get it done, would you do it? That's what 1-day accelerator is. We took the best of our live and our self-paced program, and what we did is we took all the fat out of it, and we created 7 sessions with 15-minute breaks in between. And we start at 7 a.m. Pacific. That is 9 a.m. Central. That is 10 a.m. Eastern. And for 12 hours, what we do is that we go through every one of the sessions. Session 7 is live. I come out and I do that session, which is how to establish a growing coaching practice. And that way we finish up with a Q&A and some of those other things. And so what we've done is that we've boiled everything down to take all your excuses away. You're able to do it from your laptop. You're able to do it from your phone. Listen, if your kids have things going on Saturday, you can still log on from wherever you are. Just mute yourself and you can engage. Let's get this thing done. If you get this thing done at the end of this month, you can start your coaching practice in January. Wouldn't that be amazing to actually finish what you started before the end of the year? Now, what can you expect? Well, the price is only $195, and your enrollment includes the full 12-hour Saturday training. You're also going to get your onboarding documents that you're going to need for working with clients. That's going to be your coaching agreements, your client welcome pack. All of it is fully editable and brandable. This is going to save you hundreds of dollars and at least 100 hours of development. You're also going to get a coaching tool starter kit. It's 6 coaching stools. Yeah, I don't think you want coaching tools to start working with your clients and help them get breakthrough quickly. You're going to get hundreds of question samples. You're also going to obviously earn your life coach certification and your certificate. You're also going to get invited back to bonus live Tuesday night coach training. We do that every Tuesday. So what I do is I go through each one of those sessions. So if there's anything that's unclear, we do that live every Tuesday. So you're going to get invited back. We also have about every 4 weeks, we have a practice night. So you can come in and you get practice. You can connect with other coaches that are part of the program. We don't want to leave you hanging, and we don't want you to feel unsupported. We're just trying to do a get her done for all of your training. At the end of Saturday, you'll turn in all your assignments and take the exam, and you are done. But let us help you get this over with, because the reality is you don't have much time left. not in your life, but you don't have too much time left to get this thing done. What's included? The 7 powerful sessions match the same in our self-paced course. Foundations of coaching. We help you understand what coaching is versus other helping roles. We go through the nuts and bolts. We watch a coaching session, and we go through the nuts and bolts of what a dynamic coaching session includes. We talk about how to help your clients get extraordinary results, goal setting, and accountability. We have 2 sessions on how to listen on a transformational level. We talk about how to ask powerful questions, give you a lot of great examples on that. And of course, we finish up with how to establish a growing coaching practice. And again, we don't leave you hanging. After Saturday is over, let's say that Saturday your training got interrupted and you missed a little bit, or you're fuzzy on some details. You can always come back on Tuesdays. You can also watch the replay of any of the videos on your own. This is a $3,500 value. The cost is only $195. Why is Life Coach Training Institute so affordable? Because we don't have a sales team. All the other programs that cost thousands of dollars are giving half of your tuition to a sales closer. And it's actually really well known that that's what actually happens with your tuition everywhere that you go. What we did is we kept the closers and the salespeople out. We make a no-brainer kind of price. We take that excuse out of your mind. We're not going to put you in debt, where you're not going to be on an interest payment plan for the rest of your life. I know what that felt like, because that was the only option for me when I got trained and certified. But we dealt with that. We nailed that problem all the way back in 2014. I knew that would be a problem for you because it was for me. We took that excuse out of the way. We're making the schedule work on your own time. And even when you get through with Saturday, you've got a full year to get everything finished up before your $29 annual renewal, which includes all of your certificates. It includes all of your training. It includes continuing education and all of those other things. So I would highly encourage you to get enrolled. The link is inside the description of this video. For those of you who are looking for the self-paced course, that's our Life Coach certification course. You'll notice that the curriculum is identical to what I was just describing to you a little while ago, that there are 7 course sessions. It also includes live coaching practice with feedback that happens about every 4 weeks. It also includes live Q&As, which is the way that we finish up every one of these sessions to make sure that you are helped and you're supported all the way. This is 30 hours of training. That includes the live calls. It includes your Q&As and role playing. It includes your ability to connect with other coaches. It includes all of your onboarding documents that you're going to need to begin working with clients. We've already saved you hundreds of dollars and 100 hours of development. It includes your coaching tool starter pack, and it includes also a free listing on lifecoachmatch.com. This is a top-ranked when I say top ranked, it's at the top of Google Life Coach directory. You get that free at $75 a year normally. And obviously you are going to earn your certificate. Yes, we have thought of everything that you're going to need because we've been helping coaches for a really, really long time. And we love coaches. And that's why we're also always giving you new things. And even like tonight, we're trying to earn the right to journey with you towards your career. You know, whatever's keeping you at that 90% from taking the step, listen, you don't have to do this thing alone. It's not rocket science. You just need some guidelines and you need some structure and you need some people to walk alongside you. And we're willing to do that. We're not just some online school where you download a certificate. We are here for you, and we're planning on being around for decades more to come. So click that link inside the description of this video and you can get enrolled in about 90 seconds. All right, everybody. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this video on replay. And, let me see if I need to say hello to anybody else. And if anybody else shared their website, I want to be able to do that really quick. Hillary says, I just signed up and I'm excited. Awesome. It's so good. And Eileen said that they have done the training. I'm not really sure what you mean. Does this apply to me? If you jump inside of your course, if you're still enrolled, any of the things that I talked about, any of those features are actually available for you in there. So I'd highly encourage you to jump in there and do that. Listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. We're going to throw this on replay. If you would, you still got time to like this post and share it. We would appreciate that. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week and take care.